All right, guys, we are back. I've been kind of down and out for the past little bit longer than a month. I think in the last video I kind of mentioned it that I actually fell off the back of the Jeep. My last camping trip ended up getting like a bulged disc in my neck, and it took me about a month to kind of get over all the nerve pain and everything like that. Literally felt crippled for a long time. It was terrible, but we are back now. So the mods on the truck are going to start happening. I'm going to kind of show you what we have, and most of the stuff will be getting installed next weekend, so in the next video, but I'm gonna kind of go over the parts of what I have already on order here. Let me kind of show you what I've already kind of started doing on the truck, and we'll get into the stuff I have getting ready to be installed. All right, so I've only done little things to the truck so far. I did ditch the tow mirrors for the regular mirrors, just so I can actually fit in my garage. I have a single car garage, so height-wise, not bad. I have a super tall door, but width-wise, every time I wanted to pull the truck in, I had to fold one mirror in just to fit it in there. So with the regular mirrors, I don't have to do that anymore. So that's nice. I did add the wheel well liners because it is crazy that these trucks don't come with actual wheel well liners in here. So the whole inside in here would be white. I get it, the truck's aluminum, so they're not gonna you're not gonna rust out if rocks hit the inside and stuff like that, but it still looks unfinished, so they should at least paint them like black if they're not going to do wheel liners. But these are cheap, and so I think these are the Husky ones. I'm not sure if you can see them in there or not, but the Husky ones, they fit good, but that cleans up the inside real nice. On the inside, I've added a bullet point mounting for the dash here. Super nice. It is very rigid. It is made out of aluminum, I believe. The top piece is, I think maybe the bottom is maybe steel, because I tried to put a magnetic mount for the camera on here and it didn't stick to this, so this is for sure aluminum. But I have my iPad mounted up there and a magnetic phone mount, so that's nice for inside the truck. So that's pretty much it that I've done. So just little basic stuff so far. But let me kind of show you what we have going on. So when I was down, I really didn't have much to do. So of course I was researching all the parts and everything like that. And I started ordering stuff. So these, I'm not sure if I'll actually pull them out yet and show you or wait till the next video, but I did order some new wheels for the truck. So they are Icons, and they are 17. The truck comes with 18s right now, so we're gonna step it down a little bit. And I did order some 35s, so which I will be installing those next week, right before I actually install the suspension. So that is what I have here, and I'm gonna kind of unbox and show you what I'm gonna be running for the truck. All right, so I never thought I'd really be running any kind of suspension stuff from this company. It is Rough Country. So I'm sure a lot of people, if you're watching this video and you're into trucks and all stuff, you've heard of Rough Country, obviously. Their reputation is kind of hit and miss. So they are kind of known for sometimes not the best quality of stuff. But other things, they do a lot of accessories for trucks that are really good, it seems like. But their suspension's always kind of been iffy. But it's because a lot of people also do run the spacers. So it doesn't matter if it's going to be Rough Country or not. If it's going to be a spacer lift, it's not going to be the best performing suspension. So they may get a bad rap from there. They do have some regular shocks. Now these are going to be their Vertex, and I'll open up the box and kind of show you. So this is going to be their higher end shocks. They do have like a mid-range shock that I've seen like reviews on, and they don't seem to be that great. But I've seen a lot of reviews on these so far, and it seems like a lot of people actually like them. And so why I went with this is because obviously price of stuff. So I was going to kind of maybe do just not a low end, but I was going to go with the Bilstein 6112 5160 setup again that I had on my Tundra. A lot of people run it on the Fords and they like it. It's good. I mean, I ran it on Tundra and I thought it was pretty good. Didn't really have any complaints with that, but I did want to try a different setup. Also, I believe for the full-size trucks, you need to have, which the Bilsteins for the front are 2.5 inches, but the rears are just a 2.0 shock. But I think for a full size with the weight of it and everything like that, you really need like a 2.5-inch shock to really give it a good compression dampening and rebound and all that kind of stuff. Right now, the stock suspension on here is not great. It is plush feeling, what a lot of people call it, I guess, but it's very, very bouncy. So the rebound on the shocks is very terrible. So you hit a bump, you do anything, and it just bounces and just seems like it never stops. The rear actually doesn't seem terrible. The rear is firmer than the front, and so it doesn't really bounce around too much. But the front definitely is lacking in rebound and all that kind of stuff. If you're just daily driving it all day, every day, it's probably not a big deal. I mean, I do feel on the highways, I hit dips and all that kind of stuff, and it just bounces, bounces, bounces. But if you're not really going to take it off-road, then it may not be a big deal. But I have ridden in trucks that are similar to like this and stuff like that. And even my Tacoma, before I did full suspension on it, it had some Bilsteins stock kind of suspension. And when off-road, if you hit any kind of dip or you're doing anything off-road, you kind of end up bottoming out because you're bouncing, and you're just, instead of it kind of just bouncing and settling where it needs to, it keeps going. So if there's something in front of you, you're just gonna kind of bottom out and, you know, not gonna be good for travel or the truck or anything like that. So let me kind of show you what these shocks look like. Of course, I did open them up already, so I can take a look and see what they are, but I will show you guys too. There are some reviews on them, but not a whole lot of information. There's not really a whole lot of stuff for the F-150 as far as, you know, overlanding off-road kind of stuff. There is a lot of videos on spacer lifts and all that kind of stuff, which I definitely will not be going with. So it definitely comes packed real nice. So it has good quality like foam to help protect the shocks and everything like that. The packaging is good. The boxes didn't come messed up or anything like that. This is going to be their Vertex shock. So it's going to be a 2.5-inch shock. And let me try to lift it here. And it is beefy. So it is a massive shock. Let me kind of try and set up the camera here, and I'll kind of give you another angle view of it here. Hang on one sec. All right. Hopefully that's a little bit better view of them. But yeah, they are just absolutely massive. So 2.5-inch diameter. I believe they have a little bit bigger than a 60-millimeter piston in them, which is larger than most of the 2.5s on the market, I believe. I need to do a little bit of research or reach out to them to see. I'm not sure if these are like a linear, digressive, progressive type shock. I don't believe they're digressive. I will definitely reach out to Rough Country and find out some more info. But they are the 2.5s. They have their remote resis, and then they do have adjusters on them. So that was one reason why I wanted to get these also. So it's got an adjuster, and you can see on there. So it's got 8 settings. Oh, these are heavy. 8 different dampening settings. So at least they're a little bit adjustable. They're not going to be anything crazy like Fox or even the Kings that have like 20 or 30 adjustable settings. But they will be hopefully fine for what I'm using it for. And I did go with their 3-inch version. So they do make these in a 2-inch and a 3-inch. So I did ask them because I was thinking of maybe just going at about 2.5 inches. And so I asked them if I could drop these or what I should do. And they basically told me they would recommend doing the 2-inch versions and then adjusting them down, basically the compression on the springs themselves to get me another 1/2 inch of lift. But I just ended up going with the 3-inch. These do have a little bit, so they can be adjusted obviously if you want to go a little bit higher than that. I'm not going to go any higher than that. But there is a little bit space of maybe dropping it a little bit. So that might be a possibility, but I'm going to end up at some point probably putting a front bumper and a winch anyway on the truck. So if these start at about 3 inches and after the bumper and winch and stuff like that, if it drops it down to, you know, 2 3/4, even 2.5, that should be fine. So it should be able to support the weight and everything like that. And also with the adjustability, it will be nice. So if with the bumper, it becomes maybe too soft of a setting or something like that, I can always bump the settings up on the adjusters, which is nice. Another reason I went with these, obviously price, so I could have done like the Bilstein kit for probably about $1,500. If I wanted to go for a full 2.5 with adjusters, it would have been something like either Fox, Icon, King, maybe even Alka. But all those kits were going to be well over $3,000, probably almost $4,000 for a front and rear setup. This one cost me, I want to say it was $2,100. $2,100 for front and rear, so I'll show you the rear shocks here in a second also. So front and rear 2.5s, it cost me about $2,100. I did get a set of their upper control arms too, which I'll kind of show you here in a second what they look like. But yeah, so it's not a full high-end kit, but if it performs just as well as something like a King or a Fox or something like that, quality-wise, if they stay durable and I don't really have any issues with them, then I believe it'll be worth the money and a good savings. So they do have one of the better warranties, Rough Country does, for their suspension stuff. With companies that have long warranties, sometimes I've seen where that could be good or bad. Long warranty obviously is good because it covers you, but it also potentially could be because they maybe know that their product maybe not as good. Like I had that issue with the Oracle taillights on my Jeep Gladiator, and it seemed like everybody had the same issue with those things. They had a really good warranty and all that stuff, and they send you out replacements, but they seemed like everybody had to replace them all the time. So I'm hoping I don't have that kind of issue with this, but they do have a 3-year warranty on here, which I believe is the longest for shock manufacturers. So 3 years, which is a good warranty. I really like that. On top of it, quality-wise, they seem like they are very good. They seem like they're built very well. Again, they super heavy duty, super beefy. And another reason why I also like this kit is because on the Fords, most of the kits that have the remote reservoirs, they usually mount them down up towards the front bumper. And so if you have a kit that doesn't have adjusters on there, I guess that's okay, but it seems like it may be a low hanging point. But if you have a kit that has adjusters, it always seems like it's hard to be able to reach in here to actually do adjustments. So if you have adjusters, you may not even adjust that much, because to me, it looks like it'd be a pain to have to try and get your arm deep into the wheel well to actually do the adjustment, where these actually mount on top of the coil bucket. And so they're very accessible. Obviously, it's going to look cool, you're going to have the reservoir right there in your face, but very accessible to be able to actually get to the adjustments. So if you are wanting to make quick adjustments and that stuff like that, it should be very, very easy with these shocks. That is the front. And then I will go and grab one of the rear shocks to show you what that looks like. So we got a rear shock here. Again, very well packaged. I'm very happy with that from Rough Country. Again, quality so far seems good on this kit. We will see, I guess, long term, but this is their rear, and this is also a 2.5, and it is a piggyback. Again, super, super beefy. The quality looks very good. I'm not sure if you can tell, but the size of the piston on this thing, or the piston rod here, is just absolutely massive. So this kit is good for the rear, 0 to 3 inches of lift. The front, again, 3 inches. I do want to remain some kind of a rake, so I did also purchase a little bit taller rear lift block. So a little bit taller than the stock one, just because when I put the suspension on, I feel like it'll be pretty level, but I don't want that perfect level look, just because I like the rake look a little bit. So what's also nice about these is they have like this little rope on here that is holding the shock compressed. But what's nice is a lot of them actually go through like the eyelets and stuff like that. So you got to kind of cut them to mount the shocks. I'm hoping this is kind of maybe close to ride height, and I'll be able to mount them in there and then just cut the shocks without having to try and compress the shock into the mount. But same as the front, it has the adjusters on there. So you have 8 adjustment settings for the rear also. But yeah, super, super happy with the quality of these things. They look beefy, steel body. I believe it is a aluminum caps on here. So on the top aluminum, but the actual body itself is steel. And yeah, so this is all going on next weekend. So once I have it on, I will do a further review of the actual ride quality on there. And then down the road, long term, as far as quality goes, is like how it's holding up over time between, you know, whether I need to have anything kind of warranty done with them, if they're leaking or how they're performing. And then I also will kind of give you guys an idea of ride comfort. So with the settings, I'm sure I'll be able to dial in kind of, you know, a decent, nice ride comfort. I'll definitely try to reach out to them to see like the actual valving on there. Because again, I'm not sure, it doesn't say on their website whether they are, again, digressive, linear, progressive, or anything like that. But if I can dial in like a little bit of a firmer plush feeling, that would be really nice. Because again, the stock suspension is very soft. And so I want something that's not harsh, but just firm and kind of will keep the truck on the road without, you know, nosedive and body roll and all that kind of stuff. Let me actually get one more thing here, kind of show you what their upper control arms look like, because I did buy those too. This is their upper control arm. I did get that in red. Just thought between the white and stuff like that on there, it's a good color contrast, the red. So you'll be able to see a little bit of the red in there. But they are fully aluminum control arms. They feel good quality. There's no, they're like casted all in one piece. So there's no like weak points supposedly on these. The only thing we'll have to see is the bushings and the ball joint on top to see what kind of quality and how long that lasts and stuff like that. So again, I don't think I'll have any trouble out of the actual arm itself, but we'll see if Rough Country, if their quality stuff comes into play with like their bushings and stuff like that. So if it's something like, you know, bushings or the ball joints or something like that wear out like after like 6 months and they got to keep being replaced, then, you know, at that point, that might be something that you might have to upgrade, or I might have to upgrade in the future. But otherwise it looks good. So decent quality. The price of control arms is pretty nuts. So they range anywhere from, I can't remember what I paid for these. I think they gave me a little bit of a discount since I bought the shocks and all this together. I want to say maybe $200, something like that. Where most of the control arms, a lot of them are going to start at $400 and above, which is crazy because it's just literally just an arm with some bushings and a ball joint. And some of these other companies are calling for, you know, $1,000 for some upper control arms, which is just pretty wild. I mean, it's just not a part that should cost probably $1,000. I get it. It needs to be functional and it needs to be strong and all that kind of stuff, but it's just not something that should cost that much. Like that's just crazy. So usually I had some Freedom off-road ones on the Tundra, on the first gen Tundra when I built it. And they were, you know, I think $300 or $400. And they held up fine, quality was fine, so you don't need anything super crazy. These are specific for the Rough Country 3-inch lift though, so they do have two versions of these A-arms. So I guess one, if you're doing like kind of like a stock, if you just want to replace your stock ones and maybe only have a little bit of lift, but these do increase the angle, like I'm not sure if you can tell, but like they do increase the angle, ball joint, and all that stuff for the 3 inches of lift to kind of correct it. And so you can get your alignment back. What else? That's it. So just the wheels, tire, suspension will be going on. Again, I did purchase a 1-inch taller lift block for the rear. So that will probably be going on at the same time. I'll probably put in the front suspension first, see how it looks, and then see if we need that 1-inch spacer. If we do, we'll throw it on. It's not a big deal. And I am going to be running 35, so we will see what we will have to do for trimming. I imagine front crash bars and stuff like that will have to be cut out, because that's a big common thing with the Fords, because they have front and rear crash bars. And so, I mean, cutting the front one out is not a big deal to me. It would have to be done anyway with any of the front bumpers usually that you run on here. So front crash bar would come out. I'll have to see about the rear. I know a lot of people do remove it. I don't know yet. Kind of iffy. Might just try and hammer it back like a lot of people do. And we'll see if that will be enough to clear them. With the 3 inches though, the 3-inch lift, I think it should be enough to be able to clear and run 35s. And I am running a 11.5-inch wide tire too, so it's not going to be a 12.5, so that should help with trying to fit also. The only big concern I have is the actual offset of the wheels, just because I guess being after Christmas, every wheel that I wanted with the actual offset I was looking for was kind of sold out. And so I kind of just settled on these because these were on sale. But the offset is a little bit pushed out a little bit further than I think I would want. But we'll have to see how that looks and what that does as far as maybe rubbing stuff. But yeah, so stick around. Next week I will have another video with the suspension. I'm probably not gonna do a full install video. There's a lot of videos on basically people doing a lot of like the little puck spacers and stuff like that. So they're tearing apart the suspension. It's the same as what I'll have to do. So I'll probably throw in little clips. Shouldn't be too hard. Time consuming a little bit, but not too hard. And then I'll give you like a before and after look. And then also measurements. I need to get measurements on the truck for before and after so we know where we're sitting. But that's gonna be it. So stay tuned, and next week we'll have another video for you.